Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. This is going to be a Lionheart Cermia RTA build and showcase video. The fights are quite long as I have a lot, and the commentary is quite long, so I'll keep the intro short. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Alright, so this is going to be an edited version. Again, hero showcase for ML Cermia. We're just going to go to the last couple bans here, because again, I said this in multiple of my RTA videos, and I appreciate the feedback, guys, that you guys like this kind of edited down version where we just push to the end of the picks. You're always gonna get some meta picks, so it's the top ones will all be filled with the meta heroes. That makes sense. You got your neutral picks, you got your counter picks, and so we'll just get started. ML Cowrick, he had banned Bellion and Solitaria, which is a really odd combo, because like it would have told me that he wanted to cleave, but he didn't go cleave, so that was kind of odd. I guess he wanted the Spectani angle, that's why he banned Bellion. That makes sense. So the opposite is the obvious ban here. I got a Ruel, I got all these bruisers, even with C. Lilius. Like, it was really hard to kill, because he had mainly single target damage. So with Ruel, like if you didn't ban Ruel, you have FCC's mitigation to go through. If you ban Ruel, if you didn't ban Ruel, you ban the Knight, then you have a Reviver. This fight, my SSB is injury. Well, it's not, I wouldn't say this fight. She's always injury since like the season we had injury meta. I like having Bellion and SSB on injury just in case I need an injury dealer, and I think SSB is the best injury dealer compared to Bellion.
I'll make you taste despair.
So actually, I think his miss ban here is ML Cowrick. The ML Cowrick would hardly serve a purpose outside of just giving the attack buff to SSB.
You want to try me?
Or I guess maybe cleanse the stun from Spectani. But Ruel could do it as well. But you see, my Ruel is pinned down here. So it was kind of like, kind of scary.
Just follow my lead.
He could also possibly played a Soul Burn into the Ruel, but I guess he wanted to Soul Burn to Spectani, like hit multiple targets. Issue is that with SSB and he has no protection, like Spectani becomes very scary, like to do the double attack every single attack, right? Because you're just charging up SSB further. Unless it's lifesteal Spectani, but even then, SSB could be scary. But yeah, this unlocked the ML Cermia, of course, as ML Cermia's showcase, of course. Very good damage, very respectable damage. He got Vigor buff, but the Spectani didn't stand a chance, no mitigation. Amelia, I saw that was squishy, it was a good target, but I would have banned her anyway. Because basically, with Lionheart Cermia, if it's using against Conqueror Lilius, you just basically want to keep her alive. Like, she needs to keep drawing the dual attack to keep benefiting from the passive like this. Yeah, so like as he's hitting me, as he's making more attacks, SSB keeps the injury up, and then A Robbie becomes useless. So I really like that. If it's Bellion, they could just keep attacking Bellion, and Bellion wouldn't be able to do the injury until it's her turn. Provided that they're not like doing AoE or trying to trigger the Elbrus, they would just keep attacking her. SSB doesn't suffer with that, right? So SSB's hard counter is really Solitaria and Rowana.
It's too late to back out now. Are you sure you can handle this?
And then of course SSB has the unhealable for A Robbie, but I think this A Robbie was on proof again. So I made that comment on the K-Ron video. No, it wasn't. Was it Crimson Seed? Doesn't matter. I think he's dead. But he died to the dual attack there.
I should be able to rest a little easier.
So Crow is a interesting knight to pick here. And Last Rider Crow, to be honest, is also interesting. He's not really high pick anymore. But for this one, for Bellion, I don't mind Last Rider Crow sometimes. Depends.
Obey. wish to live. I won't fall.
Fortune will favor us.
Elbrus procced. This could have been good or bad, but because it procced a barrier on Last Rider Crow, this was good because then he doesn't like hit, like he doesn't go into ML Cermia, because ML Cermia is the one that was buffed before his barrier procced. So we got kind of lucky, to be honest, because all he stole was a barrier and an immunity. Well, actually no, he just stole the immunity. But of course the kill here, I guess, would be ML Cermia. But it's not a big deal either. I don't think he could even kill. Yeah, my ML Cermia has pretty good HP, but again, the stats will be shown at the end. High ML Cermia, I find that a lot of Rimru expect Cermia to be like 13,000 HP, like roughly there, and it should be easy for them to one-shot. Mine's about 15,000 HP, so it's like, I have an injury applied there, but about 15,000 HP, it's pretty good. With the amount of defense that she can have, the Rimru's natural attack won't go through that, like past that 5,000, and then the flat damage does like 10,000. So it could be good or bad, but in this case it doesn't matter, because even if he did kill me, Ruel could revive. And he doesn't provide, his comp doesn't provide any more aggro for Ruel that it would be risk for her to revive the ML Cermia.
I'll take your life. Focus.
So again, the dual attack, very good. You want to keep that Lilius alive. The only issue for this one is that I don't have my speed buff. Otherwise she would be traveling down quite quick. So yeah, don't need to hold that S3. Cermia is charged, which is keeping her alive for her to get her turn. And then Blue Crow, doesn't matter, he can't kill anything, everyone's HP is too high. And knowing it's an Indri Bellion, this is exactly the same comment I had with the SSB being Indri. Indri Bellion, you just keep attacking her and you have a low threat. And the only way that the Bellion can really charge up is that Sea Lilius pulling her. And that's 1 out of 3 chance.
The time has come.
My turn now. This is getting exciting.
So look at this damage, right? So like he's got relatively bruisery heroes, but that Crow just melted because the Aureus took so much damage. Very, very nice. Rimru was the next, and it's because it's Indri Bellion. Indri Bellion can't kill this team.
Stop going up against someone who
So this one, alright, so this time I'm an Imp.
Now, bring it on.
So Landy versus ML Cermia is a bit risky. That's why I took out the Landy. Again, Ruel just controls better with single target DPS, so I just kept his single target DPS, took out the Landy. I had SSB again as a check to A Robbie and Spectenny because of injury again. So similar concept to like that first fight. Allowing him to have the Amelia and the Sea Lilius could mean a target dead on turn 1. But like if they go for Ruel, it would have been like he may have like exhausted all his skills to kill off the Ruel,
Wish to live.
and it may have been too late for his team. So it's that kind of that balancing act. The kill here, it would have either been SSB, which is also hard to kill, or the Lionheart, which I think that's what he will go for here. Because he got the Vigor buff, and most likely that's a DPS Spectenny, full DPS, and we got Amelia attack buff. So I think this player will actually soul burn it. He'll make the right move, which is to kill off one target really quick. So it forces Ruel's revive early. He didn't soul burn. Okay, never mind. Alright, so this live commentary is really funny. He didn't soul burn it, but he did kill. So I guess it's fine. I guess he's really confident with it. But again, I mean, I guess soul burning wouldn't have mattered. The SSB kill would have been just as good.
I'll take your life.
So now because Lionheart is protected, like there's nothing he can do to stop that dual attack, right? That's what makes Sea Lilius or Lionheart versus Sea Lilius so good. That A Robbie hit really hard. Although my SSB is not super tanky, that A Robbie hit relatively hard. So I think like potentially he could have forced. Oh wait, actually I think I remember this fight. You know what? I think for what the player was given in terms of like his draft, he did the best he could. Like I think every move was correct. Yeah, now he's killing the SSB, it makes sense. But look at that SSB take that much damage. It was pretty scary for me. He got that barrier as well, so the injury was not even affecting at the moment. That was kind of risky for me. Of course, we got the inevitable defense buff. But Spectani has defense buff and vigor buff, so it was kinda hard to take her out. Again, depending on his build. It did kill her. I guess her HP was too low. It did about like 9,000. It didn't even do 10,000 damage. So she had a lot of defense there stacked. So he kills the SSB here, and luckily he brings back the Amelia and not the Spectani. So if the Spectani had like, you know, because he has like 30 souls, bursted down my Lionheart, I would have lost. So I had a bit of RNG for this one for sure. Yeah, because Spectani would have had the CR boost, like 100% after A Robbie revived. So it's unfortunate that his Amelia got revived. It's the worst case for him because A Robbie versus Ruel is not really strong.
I'll deal with this. I'll punish you myself.
Yeah, I think he actually played properly in terms of the moves. Like it's all right. It was all about the RNG. And unfortunately though, this would have been a risky one for me. That's a really well built A Robbie. It was so tanky. And it had good damage.
Your life ends here. Die, insect.
Yeah, it had really good damage. That's insane damage. Even though it had attack buff, it was still really strong. And I just realized like there's no way I can like... Actually, I think this might not have been a counter A Robbie. I think it's a speed set A Robbie. Because it's moving really quick on the CR bar. I just realized that. So it's a very cracked pen set speed set A Robbie, I believe, not a counter one.
If you're scared, run.
Yeah, with these two cycling though, it's pretty nutty. With Ruel and ML Karik cycling. Both of them would be affected by injury here, but like my Ruel with the frenzy buff is 230 speed, so like he wasn't outspeeding the A Robbie anytime soon, so I'd be out cycling him. So yeah, so I guess Lionheart Cermia Showcase wasn't so good for this one because Lionheart just put pressure killing everyone else, but it's really SSB Showcase, I guess. Yeah, SSB here is like, you know, like again, the injury part, right? If she wasn't injury, I think I'd lose. With continual, what do you call it, injury from Robbie. If I didn't have injury, I'd definitely lose.
I'll show you what I've got.
Luckily enough, I had the souls.
For ruining my vacation.
So suppress healing and also apply that very high injury. It was a Crimson Seed one. Yeah, that was a really fast A Robbie. I'm just looking at the speed. It is a good A Robbie. The injury applied and it did lower the damage, of course. Again, it's interesting though. I haven't really seen crowd picked much. But again, it gives me opportunity to use my SSB. Everyone needing HP. This was the play. I feel like this is almost an SSB showcase, but trust me, I don't always draft SSB with Lionheart. No Ruel to protect this time. I didn't feel like it was needed. Plus, by the time that he got to, by the time I chose my ML Lilius, I was already planning to ban the Peyra. Because Amelia into Bellion is not that great. So he would have to have some really banger DPS. I think a Strays would have been a scarier ban. Actually. Strays or anything that could one-shot. Maybe Op 6 Strays.
Come, I'll take your life.
So for this one, I wasn't expecting to, you know, debuff the Amelia or anything like that. I was full well ready to just, you know, allow her to cleanse attack buff. But again, like the entire team is bruisery. I've got FCC.
This is it.
I'm assuming that's an injury Bellion as well by attacking it. Yeah, so there was no point really using the S2 since Amelia would have cleansed. Therefore, the dual attack S1 was the play.
I'll deal with this. Let's start with something light.
The vigor buff is insanely good though, of course. I mean, you've got the defense for the Lionheart, you've got the attack for the SSB, and of course defense for everyone. So Sea Lilius, of course, being Sea Lilius and being OP.
As long as I'm holding the spear, I won't back down.
So this was so I already saw that he was an injury Bellion, and I was just going for the skill null there, trying to proc that what do you call it, the Elbrus, so that my almost Cermia would have had the S3 turn right there, but it didn't work. No proc. It's both lucky and unlucky, I guess.
I thought this could be fun. Now I'm getting bored.
Because it could have set his crown to kill position too early. Instead of this right now is SSB dealing a lot of injury, making Crow less and less effective every single hit.
Flies.
So yeah, unless you're using SSB as a nuker, I do feel like injury is necessary in the meta. Like still, so Bellion and SSB good to have on injury. Yeah, maybe the showcase is really an SSB showcase and not an ML Cermia one. But I do feel like when ML Cermia gets a turn here, it's very satisfying. So yeah, that Crow has 22,000 max HP from the injury there. That's not killing anything. I got Aureus.
I'll take your life.
And I got Vigor buff, I got Aureus, I got defense buff. This was a risk that he had to take. 18,000 HP on the A Ravi there. That injury has lowered his damage by a ton.
Come on, I'll take you all down. Alone.
So Vigor with a defense buff. Look at this damage. Very, very nice to see. Triple kill. And then SSB kept on injuring, so like that max HP is low. All of them relied on it, so very, very cool. Another SSB Lionheart showcase. Oh, this one was actually really weird. So I'm Emperor, he's Emperor. This draft was just weird. Like first pick Bellion is very odd. He banned Huayang, he banned ML Kaorik. And the first pick Bellion, and I was very surprised. I didn't know. It was kind of memey because A Taiwan is also not effective in this meta. And then he has like potentially 2 Elbrus heroes and one counter for sure. So Mort is counter. He has counter innate and he probably has Elbrus. And then we have Bellion. So like anything I do would trigger something. So Lionheart was a good pick here, even if they didn't have Sea Lilius.
Obey if you wish to live. Scar those in our way with destruction and fear. Feel my sword.
Yeah, most A Taiwans would choose the Soul Burn spam. So I wasn't really too worried about like trying to like pin him down. Or maybe I did.
Can you even
No, I didn't. I didn't go for it because I wasn't expecting him to do it anyway. It would have been low value since SSB wouldn't have been able to be stunned, and then FCC as well.
Keep fighting. I won't waste my breath.
And Lionheart self cleanses.
To listen.
So I did the Mort because Mort's S3 will be able to do like 20% injury, I believe, AoE. Even though I have a barrier, I just didn't want to risk that. That dual attack was very fortunate for me. So I got it way earlier than I expected.
To take, to break, and to destroy. That is a survival.
And 0 counter. So he got unlucky in the most
I was born to be a hero.
random ways.
I will cut you down.
Because he drew the dual attack, which allowed me to be charged up. Yeah, A Robbie obviously is the kill here. And then the battle was over because nothing more can do and Belling can do together. And therefore it procced. And then I got the passive again. This one I chose not to ban Hua Yang. I'm Emp as well. So yeah, my pre-bans jump around. It just depends on my mood.
I shall present you with a chilling chaos.
Oh yeah, this feature was actually good. This fight was actually really fun. This is definitely a Lionheart feature. So like Lionheart Cermia, never draft like when it's Para early pick. But the Rimuru came in. I'm like, okay, that looks like a possible Lionheart pick, especially when he picked the strays at the end. I'm like, okay, I think this is a good Lionheart pick. I think he did ban the right one here. He's expecting that, you know, no matter what, he will one-shot one of my DPS. So either the Kisei make my Hua Yang unusable, or the Rimuru one-shot the Hua Yang, or Rimuru one-shot the Lionheart.
those seeking revenge must pay the price.
To be honest, I don't know why he didn't go for the S2. I can't think of a reason why. I think it would have benefited him no matter what. Unless he wanted to save it. I guess he wanted to save it. He wanted to save it till like his second turn maybe.
I'm sensing corrupt energy. Allow
Yeah, so I have Barrier from FCC, so it forces Rimuru to have to do the steal on him. It was a portrait Rimuru, which is really odd. And this Barrier, of course, acts as a heal for the Lionheart. And he has attack down. So outside of just the straight up like flat damage, he's not doing any damage. He's doing negative damage.
Pushover.
And he didn't have enough buffs, right? Let's see. Oh, I think he did. He had 10 buffs. So he did the full damage technically to the Lionheart.
Just follow my lead. To take, to break, and to destroy. That is a survival.
Counter a Ravi.
Step back, flies.
I was looking at the CR gauge. I was kind of nervous as well, right? Because we got Alexis proc onto Kisei and another one. But even with the soul burn, it failed to kill. We got Aureus, we got the defense buff.
You're not half bad. My turn now.
If you can't accept it, let's just fight again.
This one, I will say I drafted with a loss. Like my draft here, it would lose unless it was Lionheart. Alright, so I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. This is a pretty scuffed fight. Like I lost this draft, like 100%. Champion Zerato has to be the ban for him. He relies too much on debuffs. So Champ Z, you know what? Build him. He's usable. I've won with him before. He won't be like early pick though. I don't even know why I chose Bellion. It served really no purpose. So I lost this draft 100%. My Amelia also has really scuffed ER, and so it was just bad. Like, it's just borderline enough to resist some things, and then obviously not here, right? Dual attack there didn't matter. So this was looking very, very grim. Pirate Captain Flan, man. If I lost it with Pirate Captain Flan here, it would have definitely been... I mean, he got attack buff, he got vigor buff, right? That Pirate Captain Flan was just gonna pop everything. And then he buttered me up in terms of, softened me, not buttered me up. Softened me with the Dilibet there, that AoE. It looked pretty doomed. So here, so Pirate Captain Flan detonates on the S1, right? But look at that. Oh, dude. Like, he knew it. He was probably just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Like, I wouldn't have... ML Cermia has this passive. If you, like, attack her, you just get a dual attack randomly. So you'll find that out when you're fighting against her as well. So yeah, I lost that draft, but it had to be a feature. Lionheart Cermia's cleanse. Always play out the fight. Always play out the fight. For me to pick Pillis there, FCC must have been pre-banned. I didn't really pay attention there. But yeah, Bellion is the obvious choice to get rid of. So we definitely attacked down on the Edda there without an opener, without Peyra. The Edda pick was very odd. But I guess he was just thinking maybe he'd still be able to just, you know, AoE control me or something. This wasn't a good play for him either, so you have to notice that his Edda didn't do the strip. So he didn't strip the Pillis immunity. This is where I think it's really hard to have that foresight, but if he thought about it, like, this would have happened, right? Like, you kill, like, with all your DPS, you kill the Lionheart. I revive, and I still have someone who is mobile. I could trigger Rimuru, right? So I think it would have been different if the Edda had did the soul burn, stripped into stun. So now, like for sure, at least his Edda's dead, and this time, like, unlike the other player, Spectani doesn't have vigor. So, and he still has 20 souls. I think if you got a Toggle Ancient Book, you gotta burn those souls. Toggle Halls holders are burst heroes. You gotta burn those souls. Another Edda one. I basically needed a force ban. This one was a game of who do I kill first. It's a fun game. It's a fun game. Just for this fight, I had swapped FCC's imprint to imprint release, so it gives more ER for the Solitaria. So my Solitaria is ER build. So just like my Kron video, just like this video, I am gonna make a showcase of Solitaria, build showcase with RTA. So that will come in the future. Eddas aren't usually built with effectiveness, so I wasn't too worried about my Edda being affected at all. The pushback on the Dilibet and the ML Cermia though, being random with Edda's pushback, it could have caused some trouble, but I wasn't too worried about it. So if he was really like he's in a pickle, right? Like he's got to see Lilius that would pull dual attack that would cleanse my ML Cermia out, especially my ML Cermia's pushed back so much. And then he's got Solitaria, which is really hard to deal with if you don't kill her. And that high HP I was talking about really clutched this fight. With the Aureus there, it just failed to kill. The CR boost with the cleanse is just a good setup, but just keep in mind that the ML Cermia has not gotten the trigger. So no defense buff, no AoE. It means that I was still prone to dying here. Luckily that CR boost with Dilibet, it just all worked out. Got the FCC a turn, and then now we're somewhat safe. Edda without attack buff on the S1. You know what, some people might not even invest in the S1 because she's like a 2-turn cleaver. Like with this defense buff, it was probably going to be really hard for her to kill. But my Solitaria was just slightly quicker here. I would say that what's coming up next is a bit RNG, but I don't believe I would have lost my ML Cermia. With the defense buff with that barrier, Edda without attack buff, I don't think I would have killed anyway. I got lucky there, but I think he lost when the ML Cermia didn't die. It didn't matter what I did here. Alright, so those were the fights. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary and then the fights themselves. Before we get into the build, I want to thank my Patreon supporters supporting me monthly. Azura, Deek Boy, Kariha, RG Fua, Stone Thunder, Torenby, Potato Silly, and our newest member of the month, Jay Zito. Thank you guys for supporting me there. If you're watching this video and you want to support me through that avenue, definitely check it out in the link in the description box below and see what I have to offer. Other than that, let's just get straight into the build. So I have done Lionheart Cermia showcases in Guild War, I think even in Arena, and I just like her in general as a hero. I think she's not one of the most OP ones in terms of like meta picks. She is definitely a decent counter meta pick though to the current meta. Mine is triple S at the moment. That's from the benefit of that hunt event that we currently have right now as I'm making this recording. The free Cermia gave myself a triple S. I never slated her, it's just I got lucky with the fire Cermias. But if you're an in-game player, or maybe you're just really lucky, you're gonna have that one or two RGB heroes that you just have a ton of, you know, dupes of, like the ones you get from your 70 daily summons or whatever like that, or not 70 daily summons, but the 10 times daily summons, those kind of events. So yes, so she is at triple S right now. The last time I did a showcase on her, again, it wasn't an RTA video. I hardly did World Arena then, but for this season I'm doing much more. And Lionheart Cermia's gear is much different compared to before. This is probably one of my best, like highest gear score heroes built. I'll just quickly show the stats of you know, from the last time you saw her. This is a completely different. A lot of these pieces were like they're actually like pretty high gear score pieces, like 70s and stuff like that. The neck and the ring I think are the only low roll. I think the neck specifically is really bad. Yeah, so yeah, I hopefully I get like a 70 gear score neck and a ring, and I think this could be insane. So the amount of damage you saw me do in all of the fights actually is from Symbol of Unity, I'm currently on Draco Plate. I'm testing this out because like generally Proof of Valor would be like the best mitigation artifact for her, but I also like the amount of damage she has, especially with lifesteal. So being kind of used to that damage with Symbol of Unity, there's pros and cons for all three artifacts in my opinion. But the damage for me, the kill potential and the amount of lifesteal you could gain back from the extra damage from Symbol of Unity is really good. Also, there's a lot of heroes right now in the current pool that do inflict blind. And so like the Symbol of Unity, or they just have evasion, the Symbol of Unity becomes really handy there for that extra 20 hit chance, and then you get that extra damage. Just to keep in mind that even if you have a max Draco plate, it gives you 30% more crit damage, but Symbol of Unity, because it's 20% more raw damage, you actually get more damage out of it because it's still scaling off of your crit damage. But if you don't believe me, you could run that into Maffey's damage calculator, and that would give you like a better response. Draco plate is kind of like the somewhat in between there. You got the critical hit reduction, so it's got like a built-in adamant for it. I mean, Draco plate is a pretty well-known artifact right now for warriors. We don't really have that many selection, but Proof of Valor is stronger versus like a Rimuru, and even in some cases Huayang with if you have a barrier. But Draco plate won't help. All right, so Draco plate won't help with the Rimuru, and it won't help with the Huayang. So it just depends on what you need. In my opinion, even if you're on a Proof of Valor, it's still better mitigation, right? Because it does deal with like, you know, raw damage. It deals with critical hit damage. It doesn't matter, but you just lose on the damage yourself. So your S1 won't hit as hard as it could. I think the S3 really has no problems because of the 50% defense pen. If you have the gear score, you could probably even opt for a pen set. Pen set on that S1, if you soul burn it, does really, really, really good damage. It might just be the difference between a kill. But I don't have pen sets with that kind of gear score, and that gear score would need to also be carried by these two pieces. And I think the boot is slightly on the lacking side as well, if I remember correctly. But mainly the two accessories here is gonna be what's pulling down this build. So maybe in the future, if I get an upgrade for these two, I can consider going with a pen set and a high gear score pen set, of course. Lionheart Cermia, and I think that would be like the perfect case scenario. It is triple S, of course, like I said, so the crit rate is not 100%, but it's like she needs a lot of stats. I'm okay with the crit rate right there, and with the amount of dark heroes. Yeah, you'd arguably say that you're missing crit, but the S3 really doesn't suffer, especially from the lifesteal. Let me think, is there anything else I want to cover here? It's something to keep in mind as well, is that Draco plate does have more raw HP though. So like before I was on Symbol, it had only had 416. So if we're talking about like pure stats, LML Cermia's S1 benefits from attack slightly, but it won't make that much of a difference. But Symbol of Unity just does more damage, but it does give you a bit more HP, about 300 more if you're using Draco plate. This is very helpful in my opinion. Like it just keeps that bulk high, so she's not easily, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's not easily one shot by a Rimuru, especially if you have an Aureus holder. Anyways, I think that would be it for this video. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll end this here for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.